What up, what up? It's Acevendo, back with another topic, back with another video. So the title of this video is going to be, federal workers are being reinstated. I said it again. Federal workers are being reinstated. So admin notes. Thanks again to all the subscribers that have subscribed to my channel. I endeavor to keep pushing these videos out to give you leverage to better yourselves. So let's get into it. So federal workers are being reinstated. So I think it was 2 judges that actually ruled this yesterday. Today is March 14th, 2025. And yesterday, March 13th, 2025, I know there was one judge in California that ruled that the probationary workers in the federal government were fired unlawfully, and he ordered the Trump administration to rehire these folks immediately. Now I'm talking about, from all these big 3-letter organizations like I think DOJ, Department of Energy, Department of Agriculture, Veterans Affairs, like all of these agencies that have been having all of these firings and demotions, all these other things. The judge said it was unlawful, and these folks need to be rehired immediately. So this is actually crazy, man. Like, this looks like a movie. It feels like a movie. You know what I'm saying? Because like, who would think that that the administration would have the authority in the first place to fire these folks? Which I didn't question. I really didn't. Because sometimes you have to have some trust in the government to a certain degree, even though I know that's the wrong way of thinking. It really is, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that we can do as the normal civilian. So it's like we're looking at this stuff from another lens, right? We're not looking at it from the inside. So I don't know too much about the ins and outs of government, how Congress works certain things. I've done some research, but at the end of the day, like, these folks gonna do what they want to do, yo. Like, I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way the government is, right? So at the end of the day, you still concern yourself to a certain degree with certain things, especially if it concerns you and it affects your life. But in the grand scheme of things, we don't have a say in any of this stuff. Even when we vote, our vote only counts and only goes so far. That's my personal opinion. So it looks like this is going to be like a back and forth that I think the Trump administration and Congress is gonna go by to a certain degree, right? I can't even explain this to a certain degree because it's crazy. Because my thing is how long was this going to go before somebody was going to step in and actually stop this or actually rule that it was unconstitutional? Like, folks been fired for like how long now? Like, the first firings happened like a couple weeks ago. So what was the difference this time? I don't know if there was like some type of hearing that happened where they were able to put out doctrine and actually explain and rule that these things was being done illegally. But I mean, the Trump administration moved pretty fast. So maybe from a logistical standpoint, maybe those judges didn't have enough time to put in certain things. That's the reason why it took so long for them to rule on it. But this is a really crazy situation, it really is. But I will say this: I am happy for the federal workers that were fired, that they're actually going to have an opportunity to come back into the federal workplace. But at the end of the day, these folks that got fired were they'll put through like a lot of trauma, right? They can't sue the government, so it's not like they can get like pain and suffering or anything like that. That's just the way the government is, right? You can't really sue the government. So it's one of those things that, like, if I was a federal worker and I got fired in that aspect, especially if I was in a probationary period, like, what's to say that the same thing couldn't happen weeks from now or months from now, right? So I think folks that are going to be offered the chance to get their jobs back, they're going to be really, mindful of how things went down the first time, and they might move differently. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said before in another video, a federal job was so secure that people sought after these jobs so much because it was like, once you got past that 2-year probationary period, you was golden. Like, you was not going to get fired unless, like, something really, really, really bad happened, right? But job performance, like not liking another coworker, like you wasn't getting fired over that. You just wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff that like a person that's in a contracting position would like get fired for easily. A federal government worker would have to do something egregious to get fired, right? And it pays a lot. It pays well. So, seeking those jobs was like a really big thing. So for these folks to get fired so easily by the administration, and then a judge comes back damn near a month later and says it's unconstitutional, and then they have to, or then the Trump administration have to actually go after these folks and actually offer the jobs back to them. It's some circus stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? It really is. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Now I know there's gonna be some folks, come on the video and be like, hey, matter of fact, a subscriber, I think she's a subscriber, had commented on my video earlier this morning and said, I thought you was a anti-Kamala person. I'm not gonna say I was anti-Kamala, you know what I'm saying, but I think that she was the best candidate. Not even close. Not even close. But the way this thing has gone down, does that make me change my mind about the administration? Does it make me change my views on certain things? Not really. It doesn't. And here's the thing. For one, I don't really subscribe to a certain party. That's number one. I'm more of an independent than anything, right? I look at both parties and I pick out what suits me and what makes sense, and then I dismiss what does not make sense, right? And I compile those things, and then I make a determination of which party that I'm going to sway towards more, right? Because as an American citizen, I have a right to vote. That's my right as an American citizen. So even though I'm not subscribed to a certain party, I'm going to vote every time there's an election, whether it be local or federal. It doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna exercise my right to vote all the time, right? So I base my common beliefs and common values, my core beliefs and core values on those things, and then I make a determination of where I'm going to vote and how I'm going to vote, right? And I voted Democrat before, I voted Republican before. All depends on what was going on, right? So this situation doesn't change my views on certain things when it comes to both parties. It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm more based on policy, right? What policy do I believe in, and how things should go when it comes to government. And for me to come back and say that I wish that Kamala had won because of what happened during in this situation, no, not even close. No. It would have been firings? Probably not, right? But do I think the situation would have been a whole lot better had she won? No, I don't. Not even close. I don't think that not one bit. So, the folks in the comments, I mean, you can come for me all you want to, but I'm telling you, it does not change my mind about the administration. It just doesn't. It doesn't. But, just like a lot of folks have said, even folks that are supporters of Republicans and are supporters of Donald Trump, they have all said that, this thing went too fast, it moved too fast, and it was almost like, it's almost like one of those things like how things go in the government and it becomes a distraction from something else, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm really not, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe in a lot of that stuff. But what I will say is that I do believe that the government does put things out there for distractions to pull people's eyes away from certain things and put their eyes on other things, right? So, this mass firing type stuff that happened, this could have been a ploy. It could have been something that they put in place to distract folks. Because, like I said, if these folks were so easily able to fire folks, federal workers now, right? Folks that should be protected. If it was so easy for them to fire these folks, and then all of a sudden, weeks later, a judge comes back and does one ruling, and now all of a sudden, that judge has the power to force the Trump administration to actually go after these folks and rehire them, right? It's absolutely crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, do these jobs still even exist? There was some firings, from my understanding, when these folks got fired, their jobs disappeared. They didn't supposed to be there anymore because they said it was fluff. The job wasn't necessary. So if you go after these folks and try to rehire them, or their job is still there, right? If you rehire them, are they going to get paid the same pay they got paid when they're rehired? So there's a lot of questions to be answered. There's a lot of questions to be asked, right? And I'm kind of floored, really, like with this ruling. I'm not saying that I'm mad at the ruling. I'm not saying that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before in a couple other videos, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe in folks suffering when it comes to, like, you know, job loss and reduction in pay. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because folks, I want everybody to be able to take care of their families. You know what I'm saying? So from that aspect, I definitely am happy that these folks getting their jobs back, like, for real. Like, I ain't no front about that. But you know, but this whole situation it's got my antennas up, man. It really does. It really has me thinking about certain things. It really has me thinking about, like, what's next. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen next? You know what I'm saying? But you know, shout out to the federal workers. I hope and pray you guys get your jobs back if you want them back, right? I hope you guys get the same pay y'all got before. I hope these guys give you all the privileges you guys had before. And like I said, I truly believe that this thing went too fast. I think a lot of folks were collateral damage. Folks shouldn't have been fired when they were fired. Hopefully, you know, your peace of mind is restored from this stress and trauma that happened with these firings. And let's move forward, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? The judge made his ruling. It is what it is. And let's go and get back to work. All right? So you want to discuss the topic or subject you think the benefit of your channel. Email me asog757@gmail.com. My email address is description below. Say so G, signing out. I'm gone.